Welcome back once again, folks. It's time for the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil and Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil. But we're on tour. We're at the Autódromo Fernando Pérez da Silva at Estoril in Portugal, the former Formula One venue that saw Ayrton Senna da Silva grab his first Formula One Grand Prix victory 39 years ago. And here we are at Estoril for more spectacular race action. Last week we were here for the endurance race, which was taken by Werner Neugebauer and Rubens Barrichello, guest driver, who came and won the fantastic race last week. Here, things are very different. A week ago, it was sunny skies and a bone-dry race circuit for 2.5 hours of great motorsport. This week, well, the rain has joined us at Circuito Estoril. We had a torrential downpour for the qualifying session earlier on today. At least now the rain is slowly subsiding, but it's definitely going to be an adventurous day at the races for sure. Hello everybody, Jake Sanson here. It's going to be a fantastic pair of races that we have in front of us. Obviously, there are 3 races within one race, as we are used to seeing now in the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil and Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil, powered by C6 Bank. We have the Carrera Cup, the Sport and Rookie classes all within one race. In the first of our encounters, that means we'll have 33 drivers on the starting grid ready for the action. Christian Hahn, having bagged pole position earlier on alongside Marcel Müller. It'll be a fascinating battle for those two as they run on the front end of the grid. Thiago Vivacqua and Franco Giaffoni are together on the second row. Then Werner Neugebauer and Ryan Mascarello, Diogo Farao and Leandro Martins. And then following them, we'll have on the top 10 of the grid Peter Ferter alongside Lineu Perez. Now, I noticed that what we have elected to do this week is the same as what we have elected to do last week, in that the pole position side of the grid has been left vacant once again. Last week we held a fantastic tribute to the rather much beloved and rather sadly now departed race driver from the motorsport world. We had a very sad departure from the Brazilian speed racer, as he is well known, and he sadly left us, unfortunately, very recently, and the pole position has been left empty both last week and this week in his honour and in his tribute. Silvio Dugal, who sadly is no longer racing with us, but was a fantastic competitor in the category, and certainly a fantastic member of our paddock. And we will continue to race in his honour. But as a result of that, the pole position will be left vacant, and we will continue racing without him. It's going to be an interesting challenge for all of the contenders. But Marcel Müller will obviously be lining one grid on the row back. So an interesting situation. Silvio de Barros, of course, is the man that we are paying tribute to by leaving the pole position empty. Everyone getting ready for the start. Francisco Horta looking pretty excited for the race in front, with friends and family supporting him on the grid. There's Thiago Vivacqua getting himself ready for the exciting battle that is to come. We're going to see some really exciting race battles here on the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil grid, and we are very excited to see how it's all going to progress and how it's all going to play out. Here in Portugal, which is a bit of a holiday for the drivers, of course, based in Brazil usually, but here we are in Estoril. I hope they're enjoying the holiday because it's soaking wet as Georges Frangulis gets himself ready from 12th position on the grid. Here's Franco Giaffoni lining up P4 on the starting grid, although he will line up on the same row of the grid as the man starting 5th on the grid, and that is Werner Neugebauer, who 1 week ago, almost to the hour, triumphed as the victor of our endurance race alongside Rubens Barrichello. A fantastic partnership, those two. Carlos Campos getting himself ready for an exciting race battle. It will be an interesting one for him as he goes off 15th position of the starting grid, right in the thick of the midfield. But we're going to get 2 races back-to-back, essentially. We're going to get the Porsche Cup C6 Bank 2024 Carrera Cup Brazil race, and then straight after that we'll have the Sprint Challenge, which will have a completely different host of drivers. But the grid walk is taken by the competitors in Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil. As soon as the checkered flag goes down for Carrera Cup, they'll have their 3 podium ceremonies, and then we'll go straight into the formation lap for the Sprint Challenge Brazil. There's no waiting around. They go straight into the formation lap, and then we go racing, and it's going to be really exciting straight off the bat. So here in Estoril in Portugal, the last time a Formula One race was held, here was in 1996. It was Jacques Villeneuve that triumphed just one race before Damon Hill became the world champion of 1996. It's hosted some amazing battles here over the years. Races taken in victorious fashion by the likes of Alain Prost, Damon Hill, David Coulthard, and Jacques Villeneuve. Interestingly, this is one of the only race circuits in Formula One history that Michael Schumacher raced on 6 times, in fact, and never actually won a Grand Prix on. I'll correct myself, he raced on it 5 times. He didn't get to take a victory on this particular circuit, but Ayrton Senna da Silva, the man who everyone in Brazil rates as the greatest racing driver of all time, he certainly did. He won his first race here back in 1985 in very similar conditions to the ones we saw this morning, actually, during the time qualifying session in the torrential downpour. So our reporter on the spot is just having a quick chat to the man who is lining up second on the grid. That is Marcel Müller. But obviously the pole position is left empty in tribute to our departed colleague Silvio de Barros. There's Ashley Feldman lining up in the number 1 Tag Heuer Porsche. That car looks particularly resplendent in its racing green, and also his helmet design. It looks very sort of late 80s, early 90s retro, actually. So always very nice to see the turnout, and the presentational nature of these cars is always very high quality. Just looking there at Thiago Vivacqua. He lines up third on the grid, although he'll be actually genuinely alongside Marcel Müller in terms of the front row. So important to have got that pole position here this week, because obviously paying tribute to Silvio de Barros as we are, we're leaving the pole position empty, which means that whoever's on the front row, which is just Christian Hahn, has a massive advantage going into this one. That was Jose Maria Malheiros, one of the Portuguese guest drivers. We had a pretty big name guest driver last week, not just Rubens Barrichello, but we also actually had Antonio Felix da Costa, who is now in Portland in Oregon this weekend to continue his Formula E campaign with Porsche. But he decided to come and race on his home soil last week as a nice weekend off to go and race in the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil endurance race, and actually took the lead before he handed the car over to Eduardo Menosso, who is on this starting grid. He's starting 29th on the grid for this in the rookie category. Should have been pole position of the rookie drivers, but had his best time deleted due to traversing the pit lane entry line on the way in from the pit lane. And so his best time was deleted. The pole position in rookie, therefore, went to Gustavo Farah. So there is Pedrinho Aguar. Good to see him in the paddock in the number 20 Porsche, the beautiful EDF Boss car, which is very, very subtly resplendent in its white with the gold and blue strips on it. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Really, really cool to see. And with the 33 cars on this starting grid, it's going to be a long race, 25 minutes. And obviously, with this being such a tough race circuit for overtakes in the greasy conditions that we've got now, it's not really torrential rain anymore. The rain has finally stopped, although the clouds are still overhead, so rain could rejoin us at any point over the course of the battles. But what we do have to take into account is that this circuit in Porsche Carrera Cup cars is very tricky anyway. Add some rain, very tricky indeed. So it's going to make things particularly challenging for our competitors. Our on-the-spot reporter, just trying to grab a quick word with Thiago Vivacqua. Of course, you can get all of the sound bites and the updates and information from the drivers on the website for Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil, which is PorscheGT3Cup.com.br. So fantastic to see everybody getting themselves ready for an exciting battle out on the course. It's going to be a really interesting battle. Racing here at Estoril for the Porsche Cup C6 Bank Carrera Cup Brazil. First of the 2 races here this weekend, live on motorsport.tv. And we are very excited to see what race 1 will provide for us. Christian Hahn, Marcel Müller, Thiago Vivacqua and Franco Giaffoni in the first 4 positions. Then Werner Neugebauer, the leading sport category driver, Ryan Mascarello, and then Diogo Frau, Leandro Martins, Peter Verter, and Linu Perez. That's the top 10, and it is going to be a very tough race amongst the Porsche Carrera Cup. This is a championship, of course, that, while not necessarily on your radar yet, in the autumn, I should say, it certainly will be on your radar, because this is the championship that will be on the support race bill of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Formula One. So when Formula One goes to Brazil, it will be at the Interlagos circuit, and this championship will be on the same weekend as Formula One. So it's going to be a really exciting opportunity for all the drivers here to prepare themselves for what will, by that point, be building up to a championship showdown in front of the Formula One fans in Brazil. So very exciting indeed to see these guys get themselves ready for that. This is basically the 2-week holiday for Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil, because we're in Estoril in Portugal, the former venue of the Portuguese Grand Prix. In recent years, of course, that race has been held at the Autódromo Algarve in Portimao. But from 1984 all the way to 1996, this was the venue for the Portuguese Grand Prix in Formula One, and it's been a very entertaining race circuit over the years. Some amazing battles have been played out, and we're going to get another amazing battle here today. Corrida 1, Race 1 in the Porsche Cup C6 Bank 2024, Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil. A very exciting competition with some great drivers. Let's talk you through the starting grid. Christian Hahn and Marcel Müller will be our drivers on the front row of the starting grid in the Blau and Farben Patros cars. Thiago Vivacqua in the NHJ number 10, and then Franco Giaffoni in the Marta car alongside the sister car of Werner Neugebauer, lining up 5th on the grid alongside the leading sport driver, Ryan Mascarello. Diogo Ferrao, local driver, 7th on the grid alongside Leandro Martins. And rounding out the top 10, we have Peter Ferter, who lines up in the Agrochetti car alongside the Mapfre Evora of Lineu Perez. 11th on the grid, Miguel Peludo, still doing well in town in the Brandt Porsche number 7, alongside Giorgio Frangoulis. He lines up P12. 13th on the grid for Francisco Horta. He lines up in the DigiWack car alongside Rumen Zinkiewicz, the sport driver, going well. Carlos Campos in the Galapagos number 14 and the Le Trap number 17 of Marcos Regadas. Alcy Feldman there in the Tag Heuer number 1, and Jose Maria Mareiros lining up 18th on the grid, the Portuguese local. 19th for Nelson Montero in the Monte Bravo alongside Pedro Aguar. Then Rodrigo Melo in the F12 Bet alongside the rookie pole position sitter Gustavo Fara. Bruno Campos is alongside Nelson Marcondes as they share the 12th row of the starting grid. Then it's Edu Guedes, 25th on the starting grid, alongside Lucas Salas in the Wish Porsche, number 70. 14th row of the grid, Gustavo Janon is alongside Leonardo Sanchez. Segurata versus UBS on the 14th row of the grid. Then Eduardo Menossi and Josimar Junior in the Senna Helmet Porsche. Paulo Sousa in the Elefante car alongside Piero Cefali, lining up 32nd on the grid. And at the back, it's the rookie, Israel Salmen, in the on-fly car. Expect him to charge forward from the back of the grid. We're on the starters' orders then, as we run under the formation lap. So the Porsche safety car is leading them around. And the Qashqai safety car is obviously going to be making sure that we are under a good position, good starters orders. We need to make sure that everything is A-OK. The cars will warm up the tyres and brakes to the optimum temperature. And then when we are in position, we will be racing around this fantastic race circuit. It's one of my favourites in continental Europe and a great venue for a visit from the Porsche Carrera Cup drivers of Brazil. Don't forget, straight after this race, we will obviously have the podium ceremony, and then we will go straight into the action for the Sprint Challenge Brazil race. Now, according to my timing screen, the timer has actually started. So this race has officially started under safety car. So this isn't the formation lap as such. This is the first lap of the race. And we're under safety car conditions just because of how much standing water there was earlier on during the qualifying session. So they obviously need to go around the course for a lap or two just to give the drivers a bit of a feel for what the circuit is like, and then we can go racing. A standing start or a rolling start even, I should say, would be pretty risky in these conditions. The lights are still on from the Centro Porsche Porto Qashqai safety car, and then once those lights go out, we know we're going to go racing. It won't be first time of asking, I don't think. It's probably going to be on the second or third rotation around, but it's definitely going to be a pretty exciting race once we get underway. They only have 25 minutes of racing ahead of them, but with this being a safety car start, the race is already technically underway here at Estoril. They work their way through the S's. This is very challenging in the wet conditions. In the dry, you just attack those curbs and bounce over them. In the wet, you really can't afford to do that because it's a bit like being pushed out of the way by an errant donkey kick. You just get pushed right off the track and into a spin. It's not pleasant at all for the drivers if you hop over those curbs. So you want to make sure you stay well away from them in these conditions. It can be very slippery at the best of times on this particular circuit. And here at Estoril in particular, it can be very tricky. Add some rain onto it as well. And as I mentioned in the qualifying session, the grip is almost invisible. It's a bit like a drunken dad at a wedding on roller skates with ice cubes strapped to the wheels. You've got no chance at all of getting any grip in these cars at the best of times. They complete the first lap. We're under starters orders, of course, but we're under safety car. So the safety car is out. Christian Hahn and Marcel Muller from Thiago Vivacqua, Franco Giaffoni, Vernon Ugebauer, Ryan Mascherano, Diogo Ferrao, Leandro Martins, Peter Ferter, and Lino Perez. There's been no change in the top 10, but then there wouldn't have been because we're under safety car conditions, and that's how we've started the race. So wait for Israel Salman to charge his way through the field. The rookie sensation has been amazing through the course of this year, but he's going to have to do all of his magic from the back of the grid this time. So it's not going to be the easiest scenario for all the drivers, as they obviously want to try and make sure that the car is warmed up and in a good position. On board with our pole position sitter, Christian Hahn. Leading the race now, of course, behind the safety car, because we've had a safety car start. Looks pretty ready and eager to go racing, but of course it's easy for Christian Hahn to say I'm ready to race because he doesn't have any spray kicking up in his face. So the drivers behind are the ones that are obviously going to have the better idea and understanding of what the conditions are like. But to be fair, there doesn't seem to be that much standing water at all. And the lights are going out on the safety car, so we are going to go racing this time by. So on the back straight, they've obviously decided, right, it's perfectly okay. Yes, there is some rain. Yes, there is some spray. But there's certainly not enough to be behind the safety car anymore. These guys know what they're doing. They're racing drivers. They are old hands at the game. So let's let them go racing. On board with Rodrigo Melo, starting all the way back in 21st on the grid. That is Pedrinho Aguara in front of him. That's going to be interesting on this restart, or first start, I should really say. So the lights are out on the safety car. Christian Hahn, Marcel Muller, Thiago Vivacqua and Franco Giaffoni are going to now hold the field up to get themselves slotted into the positions to go racing for the first time in these first two races of the weekend. We've got two races tomorrow as well, of course. So it's going to be really exciting to see how it gets ready. We're going to be under starters orders. The Porsche lights are out on the safety car, and it's going to be Christian Hahn that leads the field around. Once the safety car comes off the road, it's up to Christian Hahn. It will be his call as to when we go racing, because he will obviously come off the final turn. When he plants the throttle, that's when we are under race conditions. Nobody can actually overtake until they cross the finish line, of course, but we are ready and in position. So the safety cars come in. Christian Hahn has slowed up the field. Marcel Muller second. Thiago Vivacqua third. Then Giaffoni, Neugebauer, Mascherano, Ferrao, Martins, Ferter, Perez, Beludo, Frangulis, Horta and Sinkovic. And he's already gone for broke off the final turn. So we are going to be under starters orders as we comes down the straight. It's green, 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 green here at Estoril, and we're under starters orders for the first of the two Carrera Cup Brazil races of the weekend. Good start by Christian Hahn. Marcel Muller's trying to get close to him at the first corner, but it's going to be a defensive line from Christian Hahn into turn one. Couple of drivers going for broke on the inside. That's Ryan Mascherano trying to defend from a fast-starting Diogo Ferrao. And as they work their way through, they're still side by side, but Ferrao has conceded to Ryan Mascherano as Leandro Martins goes for a move on the inside of Peter Ferter. So a very decent start for Peter Ferter, but not so good one for Leandro Martins. And that's going to be Miguel Beludo up the inside of Martins as well. A great start from Miguel Beludo. So into turn 4 for the first time. Drivers trying to work their way through. It's still pretty slippery out there. It's not bone dry. And off the road and into the gravel trap has gone the 15 of Leonardo Sanchez. So that's safety car straight away. We don't even last half a lap before the safety car is needed again. That's bitterly frustrating. And Leonardo Sanchez, unfortunately, has triggered the safety car. All it takes is one car off the line, one car off the road. So it's a very difficult situation. Now, what happened to Leonardo Sanchez? Oh, don't tell me he lost it in the final bend. He did. And he wasn't the only one. Goodness me. So Leonardo Sanchez loses it, and so too does Paulo Sousa. They both spun off on the final corner before the race had even got underway for them. Oh dear, oh dear. That was a right Portuguese porridge, wasn't it? So Leonardo Sanchez spins out of the final turn and is beached in the final corner gravel trap. He didn't even cross the line to start the race. So that's bitterly frustrating and deeply disappointing for him. I think that will be a rather short and rather embarrassing walk back to the pits for him. And he certainly doesn't really want to have the limelight for the wrong reasons, but that's exactly what's happened. So we're under safety car again then, very unfortunately. And a very tricky scenario for us all now, very tricky situation for the drivers as we gear ourselves up ready for the restart. Didn't really get much racing in there at all, did we, unfortunately? But the rules are the rules. If a car's gone off and it's in a dangerous position, you have to send out the safety car. You can't put these drivers at risk, especially when there's a decent chance that the drivers would come through that final turn at racing speed and potentially spin into that wrecked car. So you've got to think about safety first. So the Qashqai safety car picks up the field once again. Christian Hahn is your leader. in front of Marcel Müller, Thiago Vivacqua, Franco Giafoni and Werner Neugebauer. Then Ryan Mascherano and Diogo Forau. The man on the move was Peter Ferter. He managed to get past Leandro Martins, and Miguel Peludo got up into 10th position, so good moves from him ahead of Lino Perez. Georgios Frangoulis still P12. Marcos Regadas got ahead of Francisco Horta. Carlos Campos is still there in P16. Rumen Zimkiewicz lost a whole host of places down to 16th. Alcy Feldman and Jose Maria Marieros are still there in 17th and 18th. Then Pedrinho Aguar, he got ahead of Nelson Montero. Rodrigo Melo is 21st as we ride on board with Christian Hahn, the pole sitter. Very frustrating race for him, I'm sure. He just wants to go racing. Rodrigo Melo 21st ahead of Bruno Campos and Nelson Marcondes. They both got ahead of the pole sitter in rookie Gustavo Farah. Lucas Salas is still P25. Gustavo Janon ahead of Edu Guedes. Eduardo Menossi, I should say, sorry. Then Yosemar Junior in what I like to call the Senna Porsche because it's painted in the colours of Ayrton Senna's racing helmet. Really cool to look at. Piero Cifali, Israel Salmen and Paulo Souza, who actually spun off the road and rejoined. Leonardo Sanchez off the circuit, and he's the reason that we're under safety car. Ironically enough, the fastest lap of the race actually came from Paulo Souza, because once he spun off, he had to try and catch up to the rest of the field. And that's exactly what he's done, thanks to the safety car. So everybody else was in 2-minute 25s to 2-minute 30s, and he's just done a 2-minute 18.6 in order to catch up to the rest of the field. I don't think that really counts in anything other than the basic display. So we're going to look at the replay of the start again. Keep looking, because in the background you might just see the car going around and into the gravel. Well, we don't, because we focus back on the leaders again. But I could have seen that car in the background, and I didn't. I was too busy focusing on the leaders as they came through. But yes, indeed, Leonardo Sanchez and Paulo Souza spinning off in the first couple of seconds. Never mind the first couple of corners. They didn't even make it to the start-finish line. So very unfortunate. It was a good start, though. Very impressive from Peter Ferter to get through and make his impression to get ahead of Leandro Martins, and also Miguel Peludo was on the move there, getting ahead of Lino Perez. But by the time we came to this section of the course, it was apparent that we were going to go under safety car because we had a car off the road. Well, it was a bit close between Franco Giafoni and Werner Neugebauer on the start, as the helicopter camera shows us. And there's Miguel Peludo making his bid nice and early to get through on Lino Perez. That was really impressive. Clearly read the start very well indeed. Not the best of starts, I'm afraid to say, for Rumen Zimkiewicz. He lost quite a few places on the start initially, so that's definitely backfired for him. Hopefully he'll have time and opportunity to work his way back through the field once again. But we certainly have one retirement, and that is Leonardo Sanchez, who didn't even quite finish the second lap, the one that was behind the safety car, of course, before he ended up spinning off the road on the restart, spun in front of the field. Paulo Souza, spun in sympathy, but fortunately they are okay. Now the safety car is there. We're going to look at the start again from the pit cam. On the pit wall, you can see several drivers making their bids to work their way further forward. Great to see all these replays. Now here we're going to see what happened to Leonardo Sanchez. Too early on the throttle, over-rotated, and there he goes. Back end steps out. Paulo Souza does exactly the same thing. I'm not sure if that was in response to Sanchez or if he was already losing the car anyway, but both of them spun out. Paulo Souza was able to recover. Leonardo Sanchez was not. And that's about as embarrassing as it gets for a racing driver to drop it on the safety car restart. He didn't even make it to the line. Well, the marshals are doing their best now to clear the race circuit of any gravel. They should be fairly quick to get back to their posts. We should be able to get a decision within the next 20 seconds or so as to whether we're going to be behind the safety car for longer or not. But whatever happens, with the safety car being out, it just means less racing time for the drivers. So ultimately, it's them that pay the price. I suppose the fan does a little bit as well, because we wanted to see a bit more racing. But the safety car is out, so we are going to go racing this time. We are going to go back into the action here at Estoril. And it is going to be an interesting restart for the drivers. So Christian Hahn's got to do it all over again. Marcel Müller, Thiago Vivacqua, Franco Giafoni and Werner Neugebauer, all going to be in unison. But for goodness sake, guys, just take it easy on the final turn. We don't want to see any more drivers drop in, bring out another safety car. This needs to be a race rather than a procession. So Christian Hahn backs off the throttle. Tries to keep some temperature into the tyres. He doesn't want to rapid a restart. Now he's gone for it. Drops the hammer. And he's going to get well clear of Marcel Müller as the safety car peels in. It's going to be a fast restart. as the safety car peels off and we come down the straight one more time. It's green, 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 green for the second time. Hopefully this is going to go all the way to the checkered now. And we got side by side. That's going to be a big charge forward from Ryan Mascherano. He's going to try and take on Werner Neugebauer to the first corner. Can he get there? No, he's had to back out of it. As we go through the first corner, looks to me as though everybody made it through this time. Bit of a run wide from Franco Giafoni. That could be enough for Werner Neugebauer to challenge him at the end of the first sector. As they work their way forward, here comes the move. In the background, we just saw Werner Neugebauer making the bid on Franco Giafoni. Christian Hahn running a little bit deep as Marcel Müller tries to get in there with him. And the two cars side by side. Was that Neugebauer getting ahead of Giafoni? I think he managed to finish off the move. So we'll double check as they come through. But is that the 8 in front of the 3 this time? They're still battling with each other. Very hard to tell in the mist. They now fly through in race trim. And it is the 8 ahead. So Werner Neugebauer has got ahead of Franco Giafoni in the fight for 4th position. So Hahn, Müller, Vivacqua, Neugebauer, Giafoni, Mascherano, Corral, Vettel, Martins, Paludo and Linu Perez. There is Linu Perez currently battling away with, tell me that's the Categoria Porsche. It is as well. So either Alessio Feldman has had a magnificent start, or it's been a terrible one for Linu Perez. I think it might be the other way around. I think it's been a shocking start for Linu Perez, and that's put him back into the clutches of the likes of Alessio Feldman and Jose Maria Maderos. So not a great start for them, unfortunately. Working their way forward, still putting in a good show. Whoa, into the chicane, and that was very close quarters. That was Leandro Martins, I think, desperately trying not to get hit into the side of there by a rather rapid Francisco Horta. So everybody just trying to stay on the road. Ooh. Bit of a moment or two there as Alessio Feldman continues to challenge Linu Perez. But we come off the final turn and now we have had a completely full green flag lap as Ryan Mascherano now tries to take on Franco Giafoni. Down the straight, Christian Hahn leads, Müller, Vivacqua, Neugebauer, and now it's going to be Mascherano going wheel to wheel with Franco Giafoni. Can he drive right round the outside to the braking zone? This is going to need to be brave from Mascherano if he can pull this off. And he cuts back across. He's going to try and get a switcheroo. But he's not close enough to make it happen. So he has to bail out. Vettel, Ferrao and Miguel Paludo are just in behind these two. Ryan Mascherano really wants to go further forward. He's currently the leading driver of sport, but he has won a race overall this year. So he'd love to try again and go and have another one. But he's only got 10 minutes to get from 6th position up to the lead of the race, which is currently Christian Hahn in the Blau Porsche number 26. There's Marcel Müller ahead of Thiago Vivacqua. But the Blau team Porsche up in front doing an absolutely sensational job. Christian Hahn just disappearing. He's going to be looking like a dominant force in this one unless something dramatic happens for these 2 or 3 drivers behind him. Thiago Vivacqua trying to put Marcel Müller under some pressure. Werner Neugebauer, fresh from his victory in the endurance race a week ago. Marcel Müller, early turn in there for the right-hander. He clearly felt that Thiago Vivacqua was going to be a little bit of a threat, and he wanted to make sure that he had just a little bit of extra rotation to be able to bring the car back in again. So as they work their way through the S's, Marcel Müller's just got to be patient here. Thiago Vivacqua is going to be hunting him down. See, he came off the power, middle apex. There was nothing Vivacqua could do but hit the brake pedal, and that's perfect for Müller because that gives him a couple of extra car lengths. It's a sneaky tactic. There's nothing illegal about that, but it just gives Marcel Müller a little bit more time to scamper away from Thiago Vivacqua. Those couple of extra car lengths of gap, and that could be crucial going down the main straight here because you can see that Vivacqua's trying to get in the slipstream of Marcel Müller. By just giving himself that couple of extra car lengths width, it might just save him from losing the position down into turn 1, and it has indeed. So Marcel Müller too far ahead of Thiago Vivacqua. He can't get the move into the first corner. Who else is having a difficult time of it? Well, Francisco Horta has dropped all the way to 20th, I'm afraid to say. Bruno Campos down to P25. Carlos Campos has dropped to P27. What are we seeing a replay of? Oh, that is why Francisco Horta dropped down the order. And he wasn't the only one to fall off the road. I think that's Campos dropping all the way down, plummeting down the order. Not the best situation for either driver to be in, I'm afraid. Thiago Vivacqua is very hungry in behind Marcel Müller. This is getting pretty feisty stuff between them. 8 minutes left of racing. And Werner Neugebauer just trying to hunt down Vivacqua. There isn't really going to be much of an opportunity as they continue on their way. There is a penalty. 5 seconds. 5 seconds penalty by the look of it. And that is for the number 14. So that is going to be all the way back to Carlos Campos. And they are judging that Carlos Campos essentially was the instigator of that incident with Francisco Horta. So they feel that it was Carlos Campos who was at fault, so he gets the 5-second penalty. But he rejoined several places behind Francisco Horta, so you could argue, hasn't he already paid his punishment? Apparently not, according to the officials. So Ryan Mascherello hunting down Franco Giafone into the left-hander, and then they'll come into the final turn. The Parabolica, Ayrton Senna, Christian Hahn, Marcel Muller, Thiago Vivacqua, then Neugebauer, Giafone, Mascherello, Berter, Ferrao, Valudo, Regadas, Martins, and Linu Perez. This is a good run from Ryan Mascherello. Here now on Franco Giafone. Thiago Vivacqua looks like he's got a decent run on Marcel Muller as well. He's going to drive straight past him on the straight, but will he break in time for turn 1? Oh, perfectly done from Thiago Vivacqua, but he runs wide. Marcel Muller's going to try and get him back. Vivacqua's got to carry a lot of speed through too, and he's done it. Fair play. That was tricky from Vivacqua. He had a good run and he was not going to waste it. He had so much more speed as Muller slammed on the brakes. Vivacqua then had to do the same thing. That was what Marcel Muller was counting on. He was counting on the fact that Vivacqua was going to overshoot under brakes. But no, he nailed it. So that's Vivacqua into P2. And now we've got Marcel Muller third, but he's under pressure from Werner Neugebauer. Neugebauer is in the form of his life after sharing his car with Rubens Barrichello last week in the endurance race, and they took the victory. But now Werner Neugebauer is all on his own. It's all down to him. Can he get the run on Marcel Muller? Thiago Vivacqua threw into a brilliant second place. That's one of the best moves I've seen in Porsche Carrera Cup under the circumstances for quite some time. Francisco Horta currently swarming around all over the back of Lucas Salas. Luca is not exactly giving him any decent space to play with. So Francisco Horta is having to try every trick in the book here. Behind them, we've got Nelson Montero, Marcondes, Melo, Janon, Eduardo Manossi, and there is the 24 of Gustavo Janon. Has he just lost out to Manossi? Yes, he has. So Janon has dropped back in the Seguralta car behind Eduardo Manossi, who of course was sharing his car last week with Antonio Felix da Costa, who this weekend is in Formula E, continuing his Porsche Formula E duties in Portland in Oregon. A bit of a moment there for the 24. It was Gustavo Janon closing down on Manossi. Right, now Marcel Muller's pulling right off the line. He wants to shake off Neugebauer. Christian Hahn still leads. Vivacqua, fastest lap of the race in second place. Then Muller. Neugebauer, here's the run from Mascherello, trying to get through on the inside of Franco Giafone. They go side by side, and here's a chance to get back through into the second corner. Can he hold the car in the line? There's not a lot Giafone can do. He has to bail out of it. Good move from Ryan Mascherello. So Mascherello gets through, but back on the inside again comes Giafone. Is there going to be contact? No, they got away with that. And Mascherello holds the place. Muller, side by side with Neugebauer. Neugebauer trying to go right around the outside of Marcel Muller. And is that going to be enough for third position? They've got to give each other the space to play with. Muller holds on in front of Werner Neugebauer, but for how much longer? Neugebauer looks like he's definitely got the wick turned right up to battle away with our third place man, Marcel Muller. Here he comes. Muller's going to pull across the line to defend from Neugebauer into the hairpin. If Werner Neugebauer is patient, he may just get a run on acceleration. Out of the left hairpin. They both drift off a little wide on the curves. And still Neugebauer hunting this move on Marcel Muller, who gets a little bit of opposite lock as he drifts the car through in the right-hander, manages to catch it on the way out. They click the corner back through. Is this going to be an opportunity now for Werner Neugebauer to get back on terms with Marcel Muller? The car sliding around like a shopping trolley at the moment. And is there going to be an opportunity for Werner Neugebauer to turn the tables on Marcel Muller? He's really got to focus now. Not going to be easy to dial this out. But it's a really tough scenario for the drivers. They've got to work this into a bit of a crescendo. Rolling off the hairpin at Parabolica, Ayrton Senna. Back onto the main straight once again. And Werner Neugebauer's had a good chance to go for Marcel Muller, but he's unfortunately not been able to maximise it. As he comes across the line, though, they hug the pit wall in the wet conditions, because in the dry, you'd be on the racing line, but that's really slippery in these damp, greasy conditions. So in these conditions, you actually hug the pit wall because you drop your wind resistance by going close to the pit wall. You almost get a side draft from the pit wall. Now, Alcy Feldman is going to try and make his bid on Ferrao, and they hit each other, and that's going to be game over, surely. for both drivers because they're going to pick up a big amount of damage from that. Ferrao is slowing. He's got damage for sure. I think Alsu Feldman will too. I think he's going to have some suspension difficulties there. Certainly the steering arm is broken by the look of it for Alsu Feldman. He carries on. They just got too close to each other, and Ferrao, there was nothing he could do about that. That was so ambitious from Alsu Feldman. Let's have another look at it. On the oh, this is a different incident actually. Oh, this is Neugebauer, and he's gone into the side of Marcel Müller. He's pushed out Müller. So we've had two incidents on this lap. Here's the one from Alsu Feldman. Now we see it. Look, bang. I think both cars are going to be beyond repair there. Alsu Feldman, that's potentially a puncture coming his way, but you can see the steering arm is essentially broken on Ferrao's car. That's such a shame. But Marcel Müller has been pitched off the road by Werner Neugebauer, the man who won last week. Wow, big controversy here then. Two incidents on the same lap. Christian Hahn still leads Thiago Vivacqua, but they have pulled well clear of everybody else now as a result of that incident between Müller and Neugebauer in the hunt for third position. With 1 minute 45 on the clock, Christian Hahn and Thiago Vivacqua are out in front. But what's happened to Marcel Müller? Where has he rejoined? He'll be a long way back. So Hahn leads, Vivacqua second. There is Marcel Müller, so he's rejoined behind Peter Vetter. And Werner Neugebauer has dropped back even further. So Neugebauer had problems of his own. In fact, you know what? I wonder if he's actually dropped out of the race. Oh, he's come through in 10th. There he goes. He's gone into the pit. He's got damage to the car, Werner Neugebauer. So he had to pit in. How is Alsu Feldman still going with that car? I'm amazed that it's still going the way it is. As wheel to wheel, that's Jose Maria Moreiros trying to get past Pedrinho Aguar. Christian Hahn sets the new fastest lap of the race, so 1:51.4, half a second quicker than Thiago Vivacqua. It's all still going well. Here's Aguar. Pedrinho Aguar diving in on the inside to try and get the move rotated and finished up on the inside line of Georgios Frangoulis, and he's made it. So a good overtake as round the far side comes Jose Maria Moreiros. He wants to get past Frangoulis as well. The outside line can give you a decent amount of purchase in the wet. And it hasn't turned into anything yet for Moreiros. Here are the two leaders, stretching out ahead of everybody else. Christian Hahn and Thiago Vivacqua, and they're now 6 seconds clear of Ryan Mascherello, who is in third position. Who would have thought that? But after the contact between Müller and Neugebauer, Marcel Müller's now in 6th. Neugebauer has come into the pits. So that is very much going to be game over for him. So damage for Werner Neugebauer. It's a bitter disappointment compared to what we saw from him a week ago when he won the endurance race as teammate to Rubens Barrichello. Time's up, and we have now got 2 laps to go, including this one. So when we come off the final turn, Christian Hahn is going to be starting the final lap of this race. And what a performance it has been for Christian Hahn. He really has put on a good show here. But can he hold on from one last lap for Thiago Vivacqua? The gap between them is 1.5 seconds. Just one mistake, and this race could suddenly go the way of Thiago Vivacqua. And we've seen some crazy races in Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil in the past, so don't think it's not over yet. I don't think it's finished yet by any means. Ryan Mascherello still third. Here comes Franco Giaffoni holding on in front of Peter Vetter, who wants to get through into 4th position. Then Marcel Müller in front of Miguel Peludo, Marcos Regadas, Linio Perez and Alsu Feldman. Then Pedro Aguar, Jose Maria Moreiros, Georgios Frangoulis and Ruben Sinkiewicz. Diving up the inside of Giaffoni. Peter Vetter is trying to get alongside. He's got good purchase on the throttle, but he hasn't got the right racing line. Franco Giaffoni cuts back in front of him. So we're on Ultima Volta, the final lap. And Franco Giaffoni is trying to hold off the attentions of Peter Vetter down at the bottom of the back straight. Thiago Vivacqua knows there's only one lap. He might just be able to do something about Christian Hahn in front of him. He doesn't want to push him too hard because Hahn might make a mistake. And then Vivacqua needs to finish the lap on good tyres. Thiago Vivacqua is almost trying to drive the normal racing line again now rather than the damp one in the attempts to try and get close enough to Christian Hahn to make an attempt. Into the chicane. Looks like it's going to be a tough race to the end here for Christian Hahn. He comes through the chicane, he'll get back on the power, out through the right, rotate, then get on the brakes, turn in for the left-hander, try not to catch the curve on the way in. And Christian Hahn is on the run to the victory. This has been a superb performance from the man who got pole position in qualifying, held his nerve through the early parts of the race when we had those 2 safety car periods, and now he's going to take the checkered flag here in Estoril for race 1. It's Christian Hahn. He takes the victory in the first of our 2 Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil races here at Estoril. Thiago Vivacqua P2, and in 3rd place overall, it's the leading sport category driver, Ryan Mascherano, back on the overall podium from Franco Giafoni, Peter Verter, Marcel Muller, Miguel Peludo, Marcos Regadas, Linu Perez and Alsu Feldman. And making up for the disappointment of losing the race victory last week in the endurance as teammate to Antonio Felix da Costa, they came 2nd. They should have won, but Eduardo Menossi wins now in the rookie category. Great job for Eduardo Menossi, crossing the line in 19th, but that's good enough to be the leading rookie driver home. And he'll be very happy indeed with that. What a start to the weekend's racing from the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil. We may not have got as many green flag laps as we would have liked, but after 13 grueling, damp and slippery tours of the Estoril circuit, it's Christian Hahn who comes through for the win in front of Thiago Vivacqua and Ryan Mascherano. A very good start indeed then for Christian Hahn, and he can breathe a sigh of relief. That's going to help his championship aspirations no end at all. Excellent work indeed, and well done to Ryan Mascherano. Great to see him back in the paddock again, but also the winner in the sports category and taking 3rd position overall in the process of doing that. Excellent work from Ryan Mascherano. 4th place for Franco Giafoni and Peter Verter, who actually got the fastest lap of the race on the very last lap, actually. So well done to Peter Verter in front of Marcel Muller. And then Miguel Peludo, Marcos Regadas, Linu Perez and Alsu Feldman rounding out the top 10. I'm amazed that Alsu Feldman was able to finish the race with the damage that surely must have been picked up on that number 1 Tiger Porsche. But he made it to the flag regardless. Eduardo Menossi there you saw taking the victory in rookie ahead of Gustavo Janon and Israel Salmen. I told you he was going to charge his way through from the back, and he did. He finished 3rd in rookie, 22nd overall, making up 11 places from his original grid position. Considering how few green flag laps we got, that's very impressive from Israel Salmen. But Christian Hahn, still looking fresh as a daisy, very happy with his lot. And now he can focus on the fact that he's just taken a victory in the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil with a victory here at Estoril. Their holiday in Portugal has been a very fruitful one in the end for Christian Hahn. He will come through and celebrate with the teams. But then, of course, we're going to go straight from the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil race into the Sprint Challenge Brazil race. They go into their formation lap, and I would guess that we're actually going to get a clean start. I don't think it's going to be a safety car start for them. But the Blau crew are there to greet Christian Hahn, and what a result it is for him. A great victory. Despite the 35 kilograms of success ballast in the wet, it actually helps you. And he's done a terrific job there. Christian Hahn will climb the roof of his Porsche, as is tradition when you win in Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil. Chris Hahn, excellent work. And a brilliant and jubilant performance from Chris Hahn. Oh, there's people on the gantry who want to celebrate with you, Chris. You can't jump down just yet, mate. What a picture. Look at that shot from the drone. And Ryan Mascherano returns to Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil, and he is the winning sport driver, as well as 3rd overall. What a result. You can be very happy indeed with that. And here's Eduardo Menossi. A great result. And a fantastic victory for young Eduardo Menossi, sharing his car last week with Antonio Felix da Costa, and he gets to wave the Portuguese flag on home soil. How about that? I'm sure Antonio Felix da Costa, when he hears about this, will be very happy for his teammate last week. What a great job. Obviously, Antonio Felix da Costa is very much getting himself ready now for the action in Formula E in Portland, in Oregon, in the United States this weekend in Formula E. But not a bad effort from Eduardo Menossi. He takes the rookie win and can raise the Portuguese flag aloft. He can be very happy indeed with that. Well done. So an excellent result then from our 3 drivers, and a really exciting display. They have definitely put on an excellent showcase here, and what a great display it was. Excellent to see them in a fine style. We got to see some really good performances then from the drivers. They can be very happy with the way that this is all played out. Christian Hahn giving his reaction to the race. You'll be able to read all about that in full at PorscheGT3Cup.com.br, and you can follow the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil on all the major social media channels. There's a Facebook page, there's an Instagram account, fairly sure there's a TikTok, there's definitely a YouTube channel. There may even be a Twitter account. Yes, it's called Twitter. Don't argue. There is Christian Hahn chatting away after his fantastic result. And we'll get to see his reaction, I'm sure, when he climbs the podium in a short while. Línio Perez is happy to congratulate Christian Hahn. He's got to wait his turn, though, because he's having his television moment. The replay then of the highlights of the best bits of what was a short race, but certainly a successful one. If your name is Christian Hahn, he takes the victory here at Estoril. And of course, the drivers in the Porsche Sprint Challenge of Brazil will be right on their tail as we get ourselves ready for the first race of the Sprint Challenge. So there are your three winners across the three categories. Christian Hahn taking the overall victory and the Carrera Cup win, of course, as well. The sport victory goes to Ryan Mascherello, who was third overall. Eduardo Menossi got the rookie victory, down in 18th. There were some retirements in that race in the end. Leandro Martins, Werner Neugebauer, Diego Ferrao, Leonardo Sanchez, and Alsu Feldman, I believe, has been disqualified for his part in the incident. Yes, he has been excluded. So Alsu Feldman there is showing in 10th position. He has now been deleted from the result. So Christian Hahn, Thiago Vivacqua, Ryan Mascherello, Franco Giaffoni, Peter Ferter, Marcel Muller, Miguel Peludo, Marcos Regadas, and Línio Perez in 9th place. 10th is now actually Pedrinho Aguar, in front of Jose Maria Marreros, Roman Zinkiewicz, Georges Frangoulis, Lucas Salas, Francisco Horta, Nelson Marcondes, Rodrigo Melo, Eduardo Menossi, the rookie winner, and Gustavo Janon, who is now elevated from 20th to 19th. Running up the top 20, it is now Nelson Montero in front of Israel Salmen, and then Josimar Junior in the Senna Porsche, as I like to call it, because it is in the colours of Ayrton Senna's helmet. Then Carlos Campos ahead of Bruno Campos, Gustavo Farah, Edu Godez, Piero Cifali, Paulo Sousa, and then the retirements: Leandro Martins, Werner Neugebauer, Diego Ferrao, and Leonardo Sanchez. Alsu Feldman sadly disqualified from the race for his part in the incident with Diego Ferrao. A very exciting first race then in Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil, powered by C6 Bank. The first of our two races here at Estoril in Portugal. A fantastic start to the day, but there is another race to come, and that is for the Porsche Sprint Challenge of Brazil. Are we going to get to see the return of the Teenage Challenge, the reigning champion, the fast lady of Porsches, Antonella Bassani, return back to the top spot once again? She certainly goes from P6 on the grid, so has a great chance to work her way further forward after what has already been a very tricky qualifying session for the guys in Sprint Challenge. But we certainly got to see a rip-roaring race in the end from the competitors in the Carrera Cup. Really good to see all the challenges and all the battles that the drivers gave us. We get to talk about it in a really positive light. So sadly, of course, Alsu Feldman disqualified from this race. It was decided afterwards from the officials as they elected that he was to be blamed for the incident between himself and Diego Ferrao. So they have decided to give Alsu Feldman an exclusion from the race. That means that the top 5 drivers who go to the podium in Porsche Carrera Cup, as we all know, it's always the top 5 rather than the top 3. So 5th position, of course, is going to be Peter Ferter. 4th is going to be Franco Giaffoni. 3rd is going to be Ryan Mascherello. 2nd will be Thiago Vivacqua. And 1st will be Christian Hahn. Then we'll have the top 5 in the sport category, and we'll have the top 5 in the rookie category as well. But there's the championship standings. At this point, Marcel Muller just 2 points ahead of Miguel Peludo now. Werner Neugebauer 12 points back. Christian Hahn's victory elevates him to 126th, and he is just 17 off the lead. This is very much game on as far as the championship is concerned. Between Peter Ferter and Ryan Mascherello in sport, there's only 5 points between them, and another 8 points back is Línio Perez in 10th. So there's still a really tough mission. PorscheGT3Cup.com.br is the website to get all of the latest information from the championship. But that shows you that going into tomorrow, Muller versus Peludo, 2 points is the championship gap. 12 points back is Werner Neugebauer. A very tough race battle then in Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil. And they've certainly put on a great display. Don't forget, this is the championship that will be supporting the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Formula One later this season. And here come the podium ceremony drivers. And what a battle it is as all 5 drivers make their way to the podium in the top 5 overall. So we've got Peter Ferter, P5, Franco Giaffoni, P4. Third is Ryan Mascherano. Second is Thiago Vavacqua. The race winner is Christian Hahn. And there will also, of course, be a top 5 in sport and a top 5 in rookie. So let's present the trophies to the 5 drivers on the Qashqai Grand Prix podium. Christian Hahn can be very happy with the way this has turned out. The holiday to Portugal has definitely delivered for him. Peter Ferter, 5th position. A good drive from him. Worked his way through the field very comfortably. 4th place on the other side of the podium for Franco Giaffoni. A good result from Franco Giaffoni. That's probably the best 4th position trophy in the entire world. 3rd place, Ryan Mascherano. Great to see him back in the paddock once again. And great to see him 3rd overall in this very tough race. 2nd position, the trophy going to Thiago Vavacqua. Almost caught Christian Hahn at the end. A couple more laps, and that might have been his victory. But the golden trophy goes to the man on the top spot. Christian Hahn launches his championship attack at the 4th weekend of the championship. He's right back in the hunt now. And this is going to be an interesting challenge for him. 17 points away from the championship lead. It's game on as the boys from Brazil get busy with the fizzy in Estoril. Great job from Christian Hahn. Excellent work. Great racing. And they'll be back, of course, for race 2 tomorrow. But Christian Hahn, very deserving indeed of the race victory. Was not easy to get that car dialed in for the race. As you can see, he wasn't exactly on wet tyres anymore, was he? Looked like slick tyres to me. It was not an easy race for Christian Hahn to manage with Thiago Vavacqua putting him under so much pressure throughout. But very deserving indeed of a performance like that. And great to see that Christian Hahn, despite having 35 kilos of ballast on board, was able to come through for the victory. Excellent display from the Blau crew. They really put him into the best possible position to make that work in their favour. Excellent. And now we get the podium ceremony for the contenders in the sport category. The 5 drivers are there already to receive their trophies. And this will be a big moment for a few of those guys on the podium. 5th position in class, Jose Maria Morelos on home soil. A very deserving result for him. 4th position in the category, the trophy going the way of the 888 of Linu Perez. A good performance from Linu Perez, just having a nice chat there with his mate Peter Ferter. And there is the trophy for Linu Perez. Good result for him, good points on the board as well. That keeps him in the hunt for the big show. The 3rd position trophy going the way of Marcos Regadas. He's had a very good time here in Portugal. 2nd place for Peter Ferter. Good result for him. Excellent job. But the gold trophy goes to Ryan Mascherano. 3rd overall, and he gets the victory in sport as well. Excellent performance from the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil drivers in the sport category. There's one more podium to come after this, of course, and that is for the rookie category. And then we will jump straight into the action for the Sprint Challenge Brazil. They'll go to their formation lap, and we can talk you through the starting grid for that shortly. Great work from Ryan Mascherano. Just such a sturdy job behind the wheel. Just didn't really look out of place at any point. Just measured his driving. Got it all sorted. Never overdrove. Everything was just finely balanced. When there was an overtaking move, he made it. But he certainly didn't make any silly moves. And was certainly not about to push drivers off the road in order to make the overtaking moves count. He didn't mistime anything. He got it right. And for Ryan Mascherano, it's good to be back. So now for the rookie podium, 5 drivers on the podium, and again, 5 very deserving talents. And we're going to see the Portuguese flag on the top spot. That's ironic, because there are Brazilian flags there, but it's actually the Portuguese flag. Hey, you shouldn't be drinking that just yet. There's a protocol, my friend. He doesn't care, does he? He's won the race. He's going to have a victory drink when he feels like it, not when protocol tells him to. 5th position, Gustavo Farah. Unfortunate for him, he got the pole position in the wet qualifying this morning. Didn't quite work out. 4th place for Bruno Campos. A good fighting drive for him. Good to see him there in 4th position. The 3rd place trophy is already raised by Israel Salman. Great fight back from him. 2nd place for Gustavo Janon. But the golden trophy goes to the home hero, Eduardo Menossi. He may have lost the endurance race by just a few seconds last week with Antonio Felix da Costa alongside him. But this time, the Portuguese flag wins out. And for Eduardo Menossi, it's a glorious win, and he's happy with it. Now you can muck about with the champagne, Eduardo. He was much more inclined to drink it than he was to spray it. He clearly knows a good vintage when he sees one. Great result from Eduardo Menossi. That makes up for the disappointment of last week. 2nd place in the endurance with Antonio Felix da Costa a week ago. Today, he's a winner. And the Portuguese flag goes to the top of the podium in rookie, where it richly belongs to be. So now we're under safety car proceedings as we go ready for the formation lap in the Sprint Challenge. So let's talk you through the field. Sadek Leiter and Miguel Mariotti lining up on the front row of the starting grid for this one. 2nd row, Caio Chaves alongside Chelio Brasil. Geração Campos is alongside the reigning champion, the 18-year-old wonder girl, Antonella Bassani. 7th on the grid, Christian Moore alongside Lucas Locatelli. Almost got the pole position in rookie. Claudio Shimao lining up 9th on the grid for this one alongside Seba Malucelli in the 100% Porsche. Claudio Reina alongside Caio Castro, 2 drivers who will want to move forward from the 6th row. Then Andre Rosario lining up alongside Giuliano Bertuccelli in the Giants Porsche. 15th for Matthias Roque, alongside him is Vanier Pontes. Eric Santos lines up 17th on the grid alongside Kim Sang-ho. 19th on the grid for the young teenage talent Alsu Feldman-Nito, the youngest driver on the grid, alongside Luis Souza in the 20. 21st on the grid is Miguel Cayetano, and Leonardo Herman didn't get a single qualifying lap on the board, binned it on his first lap out of the pits. Hopefully, he'll be able to get several laps under his belt in the next 25 minutes. So the Porsche safety car is now at the front of the field, and it's all going to be down to our drivers as to how this race plays out. It's not going to be a safety car start this time, as the track is dry enough for us to go racing. Sadek Leiter will lead the way from Miguel Mariotti, Caio Chaves, Chelio Brasil, Geração Campos, and the reigning champion, Antonella Bassani. Every female racing fan in Brazil will be cheering on Antonella to hope that she can go onto the top step of the podium once again, and not for the first time this year. She won earlier in the year at Velocita. And of course, as the reigning champion, there's a lot of expectation on her shoulders, but she knows how to deliver. She is very, very capable. Safety car lights off. Sadek Leiter, Miguel Mariotti, Caio Chaves, Chelio Brasil, Geração Campos, Antonella Bassani, then Moore, Locatelli, Shimao, Malucelli, Reina, Castro, Rosario, Bertuccelli, Roque, Pontes, Santos, Kim, Feldman-Nito, Souza, Gaetano and Herman. This is going to be a long start for Sadek Leiter. In fact, very nearly pushing him, Miguel Mariotti. Now Sadek Leiter gets the throttle. It's a late launch, but we are going to go green here at Estoril. They come off the final turn. They charge down the straight. There's already going to be a couple of moves, and it's green, 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 green here at Estoril for the Sprint Challenge, the first of the 2 races this weekend. Perfect start for Sadek Leiter. Miguel Mariotti's got well clear of Caio Chaves. Oh, he's gone up! The leader's gone off the wall! Sadek Leiter hits the brakes, loses the car, and strikes the barriers. Oh my goodness! Sadek Leiter down to the first corner, bends the car completely. There's another spin in the background. I can't quite make it. I think that might be Seba Malucelli. But what a dramatic start to this race. The pole sitter hits the brakes, cannons into the barriers, safety car is out, and Sadek Leiter is in the wall. I can't believe it. What a dramatic start to this race. And that looks to me like Chelio Brasil is now in the lead of this race. So Brasil is leading, 2nd is Mariotti, 3rd is Caio Chaves, and in 4th place, that looks to me like Geração Campos ahead of Antonella Bassani. What a crazy start to this race. as Sadek Leiter loses the car under brakes and goes straight into the barriers. And no surprises at all, the safety car is out. My goodness, what a shocker. That was even more dramatic than we saw from Luis Souza in qualifying this morning when he lost the car and binned it off the wall. Well, that was absolutely terrifying off the start from Sadek Leiter. Just tapped the brakes. He obviously, right, let's look at it again. Let's look at the replay. Down into the first corner off the start. And it just looks to me as though Sadek Leiter has just got it completely wrong on the brakes, on the start. What a dramatic launch to this race. A couple of drivers running wide. There it is. Look, he just loses it. Under braking. Bang! Into the Armco. Nothing you can do about that. He's going so fast at that point too. And Sadek Leiter, his race ends as quickly as it starts. Here's the onboard. Terrifying. Loses the car completely. Nothing he can do. And it's better not to fight it. So Sadek Leiter just lets it happen. Oh. Heartbreak. Heartbreak for Sadek Leiter. And on the run to the first corner, the pole position sitter chucks the race away. So easily done. So easily done in these brutal conditions. So greasy still. Okay, it's not bone dry. And the drivers are actually being fed through the pit lane. I'm not at all surprised. There's a lot of debris down at turn 1. So the drivers are actually being led through the pit lane under the safety car. Ooh, that was a bit sickening, wasn't it? Watching that particular moment as Sadek Leiter just loses the car. It lurches out from underneath him. There's nothing you can do. You could fight it if you want, but at that speed, there's no point. And Sadek Leiter doesn't even try to fight it. You saw on the onboard. Just let it happen. It's probably easier to just let it happen. If you fight it too much, you can end up with a broken wrist when the wheel snaps away. So the marshals are going to work, clearing up the wreckage, while the drivers go through the pit lane to stay away from any potential punctures. And I have to say, that is probably the most dramatic start to a Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil race that I've ever seen. You've got to feel for Sadek Leiter. Pole position, all that hard work in qualifying this morning, and in the first 7 seconds of the race, it's over. What a shame. Well, the safety car is out, probably for 2 laps at least, with Chelio Brasil, the leader of the race, because Miguel Mariotti ran wide, and so did Carlos Chavez. So Chelio Brasil was the first one to pick his way through. And so Chelio Brasil actually leads this race under safety car. Miguel Mariotti in second. Carlos Chavez is in third. As the drone follows the cars behind the safety car. Only in Brazilian motorsport at the top level are these pictures possible. Wow, such a cool view. You'd be forgiven for thinking that this is a video game tracking shot. It's not. It's the drone over the circuit. So Chelio Brasil, Miguel Mariotti, Carlos Chavez, well done to the marshals. They're just clearing up the last little bits of debris. They might even have done enough to let us go racing this time by. Need to have a look at the safety car lights because they may go out this time. Anyway, Chelio Brasil from Miguel Mariotti, Carlos Chavez, Gerson Campos, Antonello Bassani P5 from Christian Moore, then Lucas Locatelli, Seba Manucelli, Claudio Chimiao, and Claudio Reina. So the field have obviously all bunched up behind the safety car. Are the lights on or are the lights off? Because we're in sector 3 now. And looking at the safety car from this distance, I can't tell whether the lights are on or off. But they are. The safety car is travelling a bit slowly. I wonder if they're trying to bunch up that field one little bit to see if it's going to be... Yes, safety car lights are out. We're going to go racing this time. Here we go. So they've done an amazing job to clear the wreckage. But we are going to be racing once again. Chelio Brasil now has the pressure cooker dialed right up. And Brasil looks like he's going to go with the safety car. He's got to try and back the field up here. That safety car's peeling off. Chelio Brasil, I don't think he was ready. I don't think he knew the safety car was coming in. So this could be a crazy start as we go under race orders. It's green, 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 green. And Chelio Brasil, I don't think knew the safety car was coming in. Look at it. It's going to be 4 wide nearly down to the first corner. In comes Mariotti on the far side. Antonella Bassani's got a beautiful start. And she's into second place already. What a start from Antonella Bassani, the reigning champion, comes up in a P2, and now she's going to take on Celia Brazil. She almost squeezes Miguel Mariotti to her left side, and she's held P2. What a start from Antonella Bassani, 18 years old. She is an absolute firecracker. Straight in behind Celia Brazil, and she's going for the lead already. She's seen an opportunity here. Celia Brazil's going to get out wide. Bassani's going to get a better run off the turn. Don't tell me she's going to go from 5th to 1st in half a lap. She is. She's going to go round the outside of Celia Brazil, and she will take the lead. What a start to this race from Antonella Bassani. P5, P1, job done. She leads. Magnificent. No wonder she's the reigning champion. Antonella Bassani runs rings around the boys. Catch me if you can, fellas. Celia Brazil has another look, tries to get the lead back. Not on your Nelly, not going to happen. Antonella Bassani's into the lead, and none of these gentlemen will see which way she went. Absolutely brilliant start from Bassani. She leads, and she's disappearing. So Mariotti now hunting down Celia Brazil for P2. 4th position is Geração Campos. Campos wants a piece of this now as well, but he's under pressure from Caio Chavez and Christian Moore. That is Moore, in fact, who's already got ahead of Caio Chavez. So chaos on this restart because Celia Brazil didn't know we were under racing conditions. He didn't know the safety car was coming in. He didn't twig. So Antonella Bassani, the 18-year-old, the reigning champion, leads this race, and she is disappearing away from Celia Brazil. What an opportunity for Antonella Bassani. Big slide. Oh, off goes Christian Moore. Right into the back of Mariotti. Oh, Christian Moore. He goes for a move that wasn't on. Slid up the inside of Geração Campos, lost the tail of the car, spun it, and cannoned straight into the back of Miguel Mariotti. The big names in this race are dropping like flies. What on earth happened? Let's see the replay. So Christian Moore goes for the move on Campos, loses the back of the car, and whack into the back of Mariotti. Nothing they could do about it. Big mistake on Christian Moore's part. Big error. Wow. Nasty, nasty stuff there. And, well, we haven't had the safety car called yet. Now we have. That didn't take long. Well, Christian Moore is okay. He's going to get out of the car, but he can't believe he's thrown away a victory. He could have had a chance of the win there very easily. That could have happened. But I'm afraid Christian Moore just got too hungry at the start of this race. I think his eyes were wider than his stomach there. Now, Celia Brazil got the start wrong under safety car. You can bet that Antonella Bassani is going to nail this restart. She's in the lead of the race, having qualified P6. On the restart of this race, she was 5th. And she's worked her way to the lead. That is extraordinary progress. I mean, I know Antonella Bassani is good, and regular fans of this championship will know she is too. But even I didn't know she could pull that off. Magnificent. Great work from Antonella Bassani. So this is a replay. I think we're going to see some of these moves. Yeah, this is the restart. Oh no, this is the original start, sorry, for Sadek Leiter. Now this is when Sadek Leiter took the lead of the race and dropped it on the way down to turn 1. It looks like a perfectly textbook start, but I'm afraid Sadek Leiter is about to get this very, very wrong indeed. He hits the brake pedal. There goes the back end. Bang! That was frightening at that speed. Fortunately, he's okay, but it really is game over for Sadek Leiter. What a shame. From pole position, race over. And Celia Brazil was able to get through into the lead of the race. Very scary stuff indeed. So Celia Brazil obviously able to take full advantage. Now at this stage of the race, Antonella Bassani is almost losing a position to Christian Moore. So she manages to salvage that one. We've actually got it from the drone as well. We can see what happened in the distance to Sadek Leiter. The trouble is you're travelling at a good 150, 160 miles an hour at that point. Oh, that is one hefty whack. And of course Miguel Mariotti is so panicked about slowing the car down that he runs wide, as does Caio Chavez, and they both lose ground to Celia Brazil. Now Brazil, look, he leads the way here, Celia Brazil, but he doesn't know the safety car's coming in. He doesn't react in time. So as a result, the restart is a little bit messy, and Celia Brazil panics, and the whole field bunches up. But look at Antonella Bassani in the gold and black Porsche. She works her way past Chavez, she works her way past Campos, and then thinks, right, well, there's a window, there's a gap on Mariotti. I'm going for it. And she makes it work. Perfect from Antonella Bassani. And then just a few corners later, she thinks, well, this is going well. I've got a sports driver in front of me. I'm a challenge driver, so I've definitely got the legs on Celio Brasil. He's going to be no trouble. And she makes light work of him in the first couple of corners of the restart. This was brilliant here. So Bassani starts the move as early as turn 5, look. Actually has a think about it, realises that Celio Brasil's going to drift wide. She's got more confidence. She's got more possession of the car. So she works her way forward, kicks it out through the kink, and commits to it and says, do you know what? I've got this. And she does. What a brilliant opening lap from Antonella Bassani. P5 to P1 in 7 corners. Now here's the moment from Geração Campos and Christian Moore. Oh! As Christian Moore loses the back of his car trying to overtake Geração Campos. And unfortunately, Miguel Mariotti was in the way. Now, because of the damage that's down at turn 1 again, I've got a feeling that this is going to be yet another long safety car. So not the ideal situation really for our Porsche Carrera Sprint Challenge drivers. But if you're Antonella Bassani, the 18-year-old reigning champion, you're loving it. She must be grinning from ear to ear. We're going to be sat behind the safety car for ages. This is great news, because I can just lead, the time can tick down, and I'll have less time for everybody else to get me. What a restart from Antonella Bassani. We know she's a great talent. We know she's a world-class race driver. But to go from 5th to 1st in 7 corners, that's just phenomenal. Excellent work from Antonella Bassani on the restart. Now, the safety car lights are still on, as far as I'm aware. Oh no, they're out. Antonella's coming. Oh no, sorry. Of course they're still on because they're having to drive through the pit lane. My apologies. They're driving through pit lane because of all the damage that's down at turn 1. It's the same as what we saw with Sadek Leiter at the start of the race. Well, big drama so far here at Estoril in the Sprint Challenge Brazil race. And the race leader, it doesn't sound that shocking in the grand scheme of things because she is the reigning champion, but based on where she was on the previous restart, P5, she is now P1, Antonella Bassani. What an opportunity for Antonella Bassani, leading this race in fine style. What a great performance from Antonella Bassani. Now, Celio Brasil, I think, is coming into the pits for a penalty, is that? Yeah, I think Celio Brasil has got a penalty for his restart, because that did not go well for Celio Brasil at all. And I think he's actually gone against safety car protocol. So Celio Brasil is actually in the pits for a penalty. And that is devastating for Celio Brasil. Oh, they're changing tyres by the look of it, actually. Has he picked up a puncture? Well, something is clearly not right with Celio Brasil. You don't change tyres in a race like this. So I think Celio Brasil actually had a puncture. Well, that's disastrous for the man who was leading. And of course, he's now... Go on, Celio, get out of the pits. Go, go, go. They're signalling to him. We've changed the tyres. I think he's got another problem with the car. Maybe the engine won't fire up again. Well, it's gone from bad to worse for Celio Brasil. They're finding out what's wrong. What's wrong with the car? What's wrong with the car? Well, clearly not enough to put him out of the race, but clearly enough to delay him getting out on track. And I'm afraid to say that Celio Brasil now drops all the way down to 19th. Bitter disappointment. So that is Antonella Bassani leading from Geração Campos. Caio Chavez is now 3rd from Seba Malucelli. Lucas Locatelli is in 5th. Then Alcifel Manito, Claudio Shimao, Claudio Reina, and Caio Castro. So this is a great opportunity for Antonella Bassani in the championship. All her big rivals are down and out. Sadek Leiter's out. Christian Moore is out. Miguel Mariotti is out. Caio Castro is down in 10th, or 9th, I should say, really. Geração Campos is in 3rd, ideally. Is in 2nd, sorry. But for Antonella Bassani, this is an opportunity to run away with a victory and really do her championship aspirations no end of good. And the lights are still on the safety car, so obviously that clean-up job at turn 1 is still not over yet. There is a very disgruntled-looking Christian Moore as the sun comes out here at Estoril. Welcome back! It's the first time we've seen the sun all day. 9 minutes and 15 seconds remain in this race. And for Antonella Bassani, it's genuinely looking like it could be a victorious one ahead of Geração Campos. Well, they've managed to open the race circuit again, so now they're going down the pit straight, but we're still under safety car procedure. But maybe it wasn't a penalty for Chelia Brazil, it was just a mechanical difficulty of some kind, or a tyre puncture or something. Where is Chelia Brazil? He should be a long way behind the queue. So he'll be at the back of all this somewhere. And he'll be trying to catch up to the rest of the field to take his position at the back of the field again, unless he has already done that. So he's not the last car in the queue, but he may well be coming around the final few corners. There he is in the background to try and catch up to the rest of the field. And there is Luis Souza, who is in a very different car to the one he started the day in, of course, because his race car is in bits in the garage, still being repaired after his shunt in qualifying this morning. So he's taken one of the spare cars that we bring with us in order so that if there is a problem with a car, then a driver can still race, because there is another race car handy. It's just not particularly well dialed in and set up for that driver. They've just got to make the best of it, essentially. So there is the white number 7. They've at least stuck some sponsor logos on it to make it look like it's relatively Luis Souza liveried. We do not have many minutes left of this race, and for Antonella Bassani, who has charged forward from 6th on the grid to 1st. Oh, that's Chelia Brazil actually going down pit road again. So more problems for Chelia Brazil. So he came out of the final turn, came back into the pits, and they've sent him back out again. Goodness knows what's going on for Chelia Brazil. I'm afraid it's nothing good. Lights out on the safety car. So we're going to have, I think, about 4 laps of racing, all being well, for Antonella Bassani to lead this field around. And as the sun comes out here at Estoril, this track is going to dry out quickly. It's only been damp in a couple of places, but now the confidence of having decent cars underneath them, bone-dry tyres, and certainly in Antonella Bassani's case, the absence of Sadek Leiter, Christian Moore, and Miguel Mariotti, you couldn't really get more confident going into this restart. So for Antonella Bassani, all she's got to do is get this restart right, and the race victory could well be hers, and it will be one of the best drives in the Sprint Challenge that I've seen for a long time, given the circumstances. Bassani backing them up, as you should do on the safety car restart. She gets to choose when we go for it. And she's nailed the throttle. But Geração Campos has reacted quite well. So it's going to be down to Bassani to defend to the first corner. This is going to be a tough restart for her. And it's green, 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 green here in Estoril. Geração Campos is hunting down Antonella Bassani. Bassani's got to stay confident on the way to the first corner. She's got to stay present. There's a move coming to the first corner, is there, but Bassani's holding on. Geração Campos is right in behind her. Well held by Bassani. Kyle Chavez now trying to take on Campos as well as the drivers work their way through the first couple of corners. Antonella Bassani's got to stay confident, has got to stay strong. Geração Campos putting her under massive pressure as they go through 3, up towards 4. This is where you've got to be so confident. You've got to be so cautious on these first couple of laps, but you've also got to make sure that the car turns in where you want to. And there's a penalty for Campos. A penalty for Campos. Geração Campos has been given a 20-second penalty. So even if he does get ahead of Antonella Bassani, Bassani will still be leading this one. And it's down to something that happened on the second start for Geração Campos. But he's been given a 20-second penalty. So even if he overtakes Antonella Bassani, it won't matter. Because in 5 minutes, there's no way that Geração Campos is going to pull a 20-second gap on Antonella Bassani. No way. But Bassani doesn't want to lose this lead and then win it on a penalty. She wants to win it by being the best driver in the field. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's pulling clear now of Geração Campos. The confidence is going her way. This is going to be devastating for Geração Campos, as basically everyone in the Challenge Cup has thrown this race away. Kyle Castro now going wheel to wheel with Claudio Shimao. Castro wants to work his way through the field. He can be a real beneficiary in the championship fight. With Leiter out, Moore out, Mariotti out. This could be a big opportunity for Kyle Castro, and he knows it. So Bassani leads. Campos is second, but he does have a 20-second penalty, which he may or may not be aware of yet. Alcifeld Manito closing up on Andre Rosario down to the first corner. This is getting tricky into turn one. Couple of drivers going for a brave move as Leonardo Herman runs right round the outside of the 9 of Claudio Reina. Just about gets away with that. Really tricky, really tough stuff at the moment as we watch the 99 going through. That's Vanya Pontes, who has definitely turned his race around after the chaos of this one. 4 minutes left. And it's so tight up at the sharp end. Antonella Bassani leads Gerson Campos and Caio Chavez. Seba Marucelli, Lucas Locatelli, Andre Rosario, Alcifel Benito. We've got a replay. Now, what's happening here? This is the restart of what happened with Celio Brasil and Gerson Campos. Now, Campos, yeah, look, he's made the overtake. And he's got ahead of Caio Chavez, I think, on the restart before the line. Yeah, he overtook before the line. Now, the question is, did Antonella Bassani do the same thing? I think Bassani actually waited. So that's why Campos has got the penalty and Bassani hasn't. So Bassani actually waited till the line to make the move. Campos was just fractionally in front of a slow starting Caio Campos. It was a crazy restart, to be fair, for Caio Chavez because the leader didn't know we were going racing again. There's Alcifel Benito. 3 minutes to go, and he is hustling Andre Rosario, looking good for a podium in rookie. Seba Manucelli is looking good for a dominant victory in the sport class, up in 4th overall. His nearest challenger is Leonardo Herman, who's now in 11th. But Antonella Bassani has got this lead and is still keeping it. She looks like she's going to be the race winner today. Staking under braking down in the back end of the field. You've got to be careful where you plant the brake pedal, as Leonardo Herman hustles behind Vanya Pontes. Several drivers down the order dropping back away from this gaggle of cars. In the background you can see Claudio Reina and Giuliano Bertuccelli. We seem to have lost Miguel Caetano from the group. Caetano's dropped back. So too have Luis Souza and Celio Brasil. And Eric Santos has dropped all the way back to the end of the field as well. Shanyo Kim has retired from the race, I think. And Matheus Roque, I think, is a lap down. Bit of a mistake there from Alcifel Benito. Just dropped it on the gravel. And there's an opportunity for Leonardo Herman. It was a bit sluggish coming off the turn for Vanya Pontes. And this is going to be Herman up the inside. He gets through. So Leonardo Herman now into P10. But he's got to try and make a bit more time if he wants to catch up to Seba Marucelli, the leader in the sport category. It's a great fight back from Leonardo Herman, as it was from Bassani earlier on. You've got to be careful. He almost plows straight into the back of Caio Castro. Not easy to gauge where the race is going to go. You've got to go for a gap that opens up. Sometimes it's not very clear where that gap's going to come from. As we currently watch Locatelli, Rosario, Felmanito, then drop back into this queue of cars behind them. Chimiao, Castro, Pontes, Herman, Reina, Bertuccelli. A great little midfield battle this. They come off the turn. And Antonella Bassani is just setting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. She's just done a 1:45.2. Everybody else is in the 1:46s and 1:47s. Full of confidence, Antonella Bassani. This race is hers. And down the straight, looks like we've got Andre Rosario taking on Lucas Locatelli. Locatelli pulls across the line to make sure Rosario can't get there. And everybody else is finally getting used to the dry conditions of the circuit now. As again, Alcifel Benito tries his luck on Andre Rosario. Not going to get through. Antonella Bassani, look, she's just dropped the field. Campos can't keep up. Chavez and Manucelli are in a different league. Absolutely terrific from Antonella Bassani. This is going to be her penultimate lap. There is your race leader in the rookie category, Caio Chavez, and it's going to be 3rd overall. Amazingly, we're only going to get 2 challenge drivers in the top 5. Because 3 of the challenge drivers are out of this race. So is Miguel Mariotti going to be classified as 5th and therefore make it to the podium? Or will there be only 4 drivers? Oh no, well, it'll be the overall rankings, won't it? So they won't make the podium. Time is up. What a race. Time is up, so we're on the penultimate lap. And for Antonella Bassani, who has pulled 3 seconds clear of Gerson Campos, this is her race. I thought she'd have a good chance of it in these drying conditions. I didn't think she'd make it look as easy as she has. So Caio Chavez in front of Seba Manucelli, Lucas Locatelli P5 in front of Andre Rosario, Alcifel Benito, Claudio Chimiao, Caio Castro and Leonardo Herman now into 10th position as we know. But out of the final turn, Antonella Bassani is now on the home stretch. And she begins Ultima Volta, the last lap here at Estoril. The final lap for Antonella Bassani, who, quite frankly, has made this race look like child's play. I wonder if she's got the opponent's level at 80% compared to everybody else. I mean, she's made this race look so easy. I bet it wasn't. Diving up the inside, Alcifer Manito trying on Andre Rosario. And further back, you've got Reina trying to make the lunge on the inside there of Vanya Pontes. They're still wheeling, they're still wheel to wheel. Vanya Pontes gets the better of Reina for the moment. A little bit of hesitation there from the car in front of Castro. That was the 58 of Claudio Chimiao, and Chimiao's going to lose 2 places. So Castro gets through. Pontes is trying to come through as well. Is there going to be enough room for all of those Porsches to go together? Oh, just about, but not for the sake of Pontes. Pontes is shunted back down the order. He's not particularly happy with that one. So Vanya Pontes has got to try again on Claudio Chimiao. And he's going to have to go the long way round because that's where Chimiao's going to place him. Castro's got one final bit to go after Leonardo Hierman, who's having a great comeback here and is now closing up on Lucas Locatelli. That would be a good move for him in the closing stages. But what about this incredible driver, the princess of Porsche and the diva of domination? What an amazing run from Antonella Bassani, 18 years of age, the reigning Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil champion, has made it look effortless today at Estoril. She comes off the final turn after one of the best drives I've ever seen in the category. Antonella Bassani wins, dominates, crushes Estoril. What a result for Antonella Bassani. An amazing drive, worthy of Ayrton Senna in a Porsche. Absolutely incredible. 5th to 1st in 1 lap. Antonella Bassani wins this race the Ayrton Senna way. Gerson Campos in 2nd, Carlos Chavez in 3rd, the leading rookie, Seba Malucelli, the leading sport driver, in 4th place, ahead of Andre Rosario, Alcifel Manito, Cao Castro, Leonardo Herman, Lucas Locatelli and Claudio Chimiao. Rather sadly, the penalty for Gerson Campos will drop him all the way down the field. So I believe that's going to be Carlos Chavez and Seba Malucelli promoted to the top 3. But Antonella Bassani is the Queen of Portugal today. Excellent drive. Back in 1993 at Donington Park in Formula 1, her countryman Ayrton Senna da Silva went from 5th at the start of the lap to 1st by the end of it. That's exactly what Antonella Bassani has just done in a Porsche in Estoril. Well done to Carlos Chavez, the leading rookie, and thanks to Gerson Campos' penalty, he has now been promoted to 2nd overall. What an amazing drive from Carlos Chavez this weekend. After Antonella Bassani taking a beautiful, beautiful victory from Carlos Chavez, we've got 3 different class winners in the top 3 places. You don't see that too often in Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil or in Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil for that matter. Amazing. Seba Malucelli comes through as the winner in the sport category behind Antonella Bassani and Carlos Chavez. The penalty for Gerson Campos drops him all the way to 13th, I'm afraid. Only ahead of Luis Souza, Chelio Brasil, Miguel Gaetano, Eric Santos and Matthias Roque, who all had problems in one of the craziest races you're ever going to see around the Estoril circuit. What a commanding display from the 18-year-old racer, reigning Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil champion, Antonella Bassani has outdriven her own ability today. We all know she's good. Today, she kicked it up a notch. That's easily the best I've ever seen her race. And she totally deserves the win. What a commanding drive from Antonella Bassani. And as far as the championship is concerned, this win, with all her rivals squandering points, this is very much game on to become back-to-back champion. What a result for the talented teen, Antonella Bassani. The all-female crew, very nearly, greets her as she comes in. What a result! The girls are on top here in Estoril. And as is tradition in Porsche Brazil, she climbs the roof. Antonella Bassani is the Queen of Estoril. Well done, buddy. Well done, Antonella. Such a great drive. Carlos Chavez celebrates as the leading rookie and second place overall. He's got to be so happy with that. That's a big achievement. That's about as good as a rookie has ever been in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil. A win is almost impossible. Second place made it look as though Carlos Chavez might be about to change that. Antonella Bassani, what a drive from this very skillful 18-year-old racing driver. Such an epic drive. She went from 5th position on the restart to the lead in half a lap. Just stunning from Antonella Bassani. It was the most beautiful race drive you could ever ask of her. Excellent work for Antonella Bassani, and you are sure will hear all of the reaction from that on the Instagram account, on the Facebook page, and on Porsche GT3Cup.com.br. But what a great result for Antonella Bassani. Great to see the teenage sensation and the reigning champion come through in such an amazing drive. I've seen her pull off some amazing moves. Her win in Velocita earlier this year was good. That was better. That was much better. Great work. Carlos Chavez comes through for second. Seba Malucelli comes through for third, and they are all class winners. You don't get that very often. So there will be 2 podium ceremonies, of course, for the top 5 overall. And that will see Alci Feldman-Nito, Andre Rosario, Seba Malucelli, Carlos Chavez, and Antonella Bassani on the podium. That is not the podium I would have predicted going into this, but nonetheless deserving. Well done to Carlos Chavez. Well done to Alci Feldman-Nito and Andre Rosario. They drove through the chaos and came through for 4th and 5th in the end. These two had a good battle too, Lucas Locatelli and Leonardo Herman. In fact, Herman is coming back to the podium later to pick up some silverware in the sport category. A quick reaction from Carlos Chavez. A great result for him. He can be so proud of that. One of the youngest men in the field, and he has come through for a second place finish here in Portugal. What a great result. You would never predict a rookie to do so well, and he has, and he's made it look so invincible, really, to work his way through the field and stay there. In qualifying this morning, he was exemplary, and now he's there, permanent fixture of the front end of the field. Great effort, really good performance, and it'll be great to see him when he goes to the podium. And you're going to need to let him go, because I think he is going to be one of the first people on the podium. Excellent work from Carlos Chavez. Very determined. Congratulations to him. Second overall, and the winner in rookie. And now the sun's come out. Hopefully it's going to stay out and be there for the race tomorrow as well. There are 3 different class winners. Well, interestingly, we've got rookie, we've got challenge, but we haven't got sport. We should have sport as well, because we should have Seba Malucelli there as well. But Antonella Bassani is the overall winner. Carlos Chavez wins rookie. Seba Malucelli wins in sport. Slight glitch there. So here's the provisional results. Antonella Bassani takes the win then from Carlos Chavez and Seba Malucelli. Andre Rosario in 4th ahead of Alci Feldman-Nito. Then Carl Castro, Leonardo Herman, Lucas Locatelli, Claudio Chimiao. And in 10th place, Vanier Pontes. 11th place is Claudio Reina in front of Giuliano Butticelli. Gerson Campos' 22nd penalty drops him from 2nd on the road to 13th in the final reckoning. Luis Souza, 14th place in front of Celio Brasil. And then Miguel Cayetano and Eric Santos. The retirements, Mateus Roque, Sang Ho Kim, Miguel Mariotti, Christian Moore, and Sadek Leiter. What a dramatic race right from the outset. That race had drama written all over it. Well, a big disaster for several drivers, particularly for Sadek Leiter, Christian Moore, Miguel Mariotti and Celio Brasil, all of them starting at the front end of the field. But the driver who picked up the pieces, the girl with the guts and the determination, Antonella Bassani, drove rings around her male counterparts and showed everybody, girls can drive, girls can really drive. Excellent work from Luis Souza to fight his way back into contention after the damage he picked up this morning. Mateus Roque, not really sure what happened to his car, but he certainly fell away from it, as too sadly did Eric Santos. But a fantastic pair of races then in the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil and the Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil. There's a second race coming up tomorrow, of course, as well. We'll be live again on Motorsport TV for that. But before we disappear, it's time to celebrate the efforts and achievements of these amazing drivers on the podium. We'll have the overall podium, we'll have the sport podium, and we'll have the rookie podium. So we'll get to see Alcifel Benito, Andre Rosario, Seba Malucelli, Cara Chavez, and Antonella Bassani on the overall podium. On the rookie podium, we'll see Vanya Pontes, Claudio Chimiao, Lucas Locatelli, Alcifel Benito, and Cara Chavez. And then on the sport podium, we'll see Celio Brasil, Luis Souza, Giuliano Bertuccelli, Leonardo Herman, that man on the green car on the right of your screen who fought his way up to second place in class. And the class winner, Seba Malucelli. Great racing here then from Estoril, host of Formula One, the Portuguese Grand Prix from 1984 to 1996. 39 years ago, Ayrton Senna da Silva won his first Grand Prix here. 9 years after that, he won the European Grand Prix from Donington Park, going from 5th to 1st in one lap. Today at Estoril, Antonella Bassani has done the same in a Porsche in the Sprint Challenge of Brazil. The only woman in the field, and she's beaten every other driver. 5th place for Alcifel Benito. He can be very happy with that. Not a bad effort considering how things looked so bleak in qualifying. 4th place for Andre Rosario. Determination and keeping it on the island pays off. Good work from Andre Rosario. 3rd position will go the way of Seba Malucelli. A good drive from him and a victory in class as well. You can be happy with that. How rare is it that all 3 class winners are on the overall podium? Savour that picture. It doesn't happen every day. 2nd place for Caio Chavez. 1 from the victory. Excellent work for Caio Chavez. This is one of the happiest overall podiums in the championship's history. But the winner from P5 to P1, the golden girl of Porsche Brazil, Antonella Bassani, victorious again. And deservedly so. Anyone watching who says motorsport is a guy sport, you look pretty foolish now, don't you? The one girl in the field ran rings around the boys and made them look like they were standing still. It's time for Antonella Bassani and the boys of Porsche to get busy with the fizzy. Well done, Antonella. That is clearly your finest victory in the championship. And all roads lead to a back-to-back championship crown for her if she keeps this up. What a commanding display from a racing driver who is just getting better and better all the time. Forget the fact that she's a girl. Forget the fact that she's 18. What she's doing at the wheel at the moment with so little experience is monstrous. Definitely a GT star of the future. And maybe a future class winner at Le Mans, at Sebring, at Daytona, at the Nürburgring. So much opportunity for Antonella Bassani in the future. It's wonderful to observe. So we're going to have the rookie podium and we're going to have the sport podium as well. Everybody's still gathered to welcome 5 more drivers to the rostrum. But what a result for Antonella Bassani. Good going from Leonardo Herman. It was a disaster in qualifying this morning. He started dead last. And yet here he is on the podium again in fine style. Now, I think this is the rookie and sport podium actually. So yeah, this is the rookie and sport podium. I'm not sure whether they're separated or not, but certainly now we've got the 5th driver in the mix, and that is Lucas Locatelli. So Lucas Locatelli getting his 5th place trophy. Disappointed, I'm sure, because from what looked like a good pole position earlier on in qualifying, it's kind of fallen away a bit for him. But hey, silverware is silverware. You don't turn it down. What a comeback from Leonardo Herman. P4, excellent recovery drive from him. 3rd position for the youngster Alcifel Benito, still the youngest man on this entire grid. And very good work indeed for him. A good podium. 2nd place for Seba Malucelli. He can be so happy with this. What a great run. Excellent, calm, mature driving. But the golden trophy, the winning rookie, Caio Chavez. Very deserving indeed. What a great result. The Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil and the Porsche Sprint Challenge Brazil have been two fabulous races, won in commanding fashion by Christian Hahn and Antonella Bassani. What a start to the action here at Estoril. Caio Chavez celebrates a rookie victory, very deserving indeed of this phenomenal youngster's talents. Excellent display. And there's more where that came from because, of course, we have a second race tomorrow here at Estoril. But there is one more podium to come, I do believe, and that is the sport podium. Well, they seem to think that Caio Chavez is the sport winner. He's not, he's the rookie winner. But very deserving nonetheless. And a very commanding display it was indeed from him. Unless they judge him to have won the sport race, I think that might actually have been the sport podium. Because by winning the rookie race ahead of Seba Manucelli, he actually wins the sport category as well. That's what that means. I apologise. So Caio Chavez is about to go to the podium a second time. Well, no, a third time. Because he won the rookie race. He was ahead of the sport drivers. So yeah, that's Vanya Pontes. So this is going to be the rookie podium. So Caio Chavez has done something quite impressive here. He's actually won 3 trophies. Second overall, first sport podium winner, and first rookie winner. So Lucas Locatelli and Alci Feldmanito come back to the podium as they pick up their rookie trophies. But Caio Chavez is getting pretty bored of the podium, isn't he? Third time to the rostrum in the space of 10 minutes. Second overall, winner in sport, winner in rookie. Vanya Pontes comes through for the victor. The winning trophy is not his today, but 5th position will do quite nicely. 4th place for Claudio Chimiao. Did a good job in qualifying this morning. And not a bad place to be. Some good silverware for his mantelpiece. A good effort all weekend from Lucas Locatelli. 3rd position. Very deserving after the hard work he's put in. And he can be happy with that in terms of the championship points as well. It's a big gain. 2nd place for the youngest man on this starting grid, Alci Feldmanito. After his father was accidentally disqualified from the first race, it's his dad that gets to give him the trophy. How about that? That's what I love about this sport. It's the community spirit and the family atmosphere that this championship gives you. Alci Feldmanito is presented his trophy by his father. How about that? But the winning trophy in rookie, as he got the winning trophy in sport and the 2nd trophy overall, Caio Chavez really is running out of room on his mantelpiece. But notice how quickly Claudio Chimiao ran away from the podium. He doesn't want to get sprayed with champagne. But he's going to anyway. He's going to run away with it and drink it. So for the last time on today's podium, the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil Sprint Challenge drivers get busy with a fizzy, and we celebrate in style. Victories for Christian Hahn and Antonella Bassani in the Porsche Carrera Cup Brazil and Sprint Challenge Brazil categories. And we've had some amazing racing over the course of the day. There's more to come tomorrow. On Motorsport TV, you'll catch the 2nd race of the weekend from our 4th visit of the season and our first to Portugal here at the Estoril circuit. It's been really entertaining. We hope you've enjoyed the efforts of Christian Hahn in the Carrera Cup Brazil and Antonella Bassani in Sprint Challenge Brazil. The racing has been majestic. It's been crazy. It's been chaotic, but it's been spectacular. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. I'm Jake Sanson. Thank you very much for tuning in. There's more where that came from tomorrow.